Yo guys, Gemini 3.0 got released and the world is going crazy as always. Everyone's saying that this is the new era of AI, of automations, especially because we are in the AI agency space right now. And this is why you're watching the video, probably because you're looking to sell AI solutions to businesses and make money. I've been doing it for over 2 years now, and I've seen a lot of the updates across different tools that we all use. And in this video, I want to talk with you and brainstorm on what it means for our community. I hate the word community right now in our space because people selling bullshit communities for 70, 80, $90 a month and making hundreds of thousands of dollars of it. But okay, maybe I'm mad because I'm not doing that. But I want to give you my honest thoughts as a business owner who is actually getting influenced or not by all of these updates. Being completely honest, okay, heard about Gemini 3.0 probably a few days ago as soon as it got released. Both of my developers, not both, we have a team of 10, but some of my developers who are one of the CTO and one of the team leads is like saying, hey, Eugene, check it out. So we might want to use it because this is a huge upgrade into everything that we've been using, okay? And I highly doubt that we had a conversation with them pretty quickly and then realized that it's not changing too many things for us, especially because we're focusing on our lead activation system only and selling it to the local service contractors. And we have this system, it's working. Of course, we're looking for more ways how to upgrade the system. And the new model actually introduces a lot of the new things that we can potentially use and can potentially bring even more value to the businesses that we work with. But because everything is working right now pretty fine, and if you check out some of my previous videos on any of the YouTube channels that I own, because I own two and I post actively on both of these YouTube channels, I was talking about the way where my business is at right now, where we are trying to grow, but in a different way. We're trying to optimize the processes because the system that we built actually delivers the results. And we're trying to make it even more productized. We're trying to make it as close to as SaaS as possible, not going into the SaaS route, but making everything super much productized. This is why what I'm focusing on is optimizing all the processes, keeping the results that our lead activation system brings to the businesses, and spending less time on the fulfillment. So I knew that probably it's not going to change too much things. But let's watch some of the videos together and see what it is up to. Because again, as I said, I've never actually saw anything. I saw like a few posts on the LinkedIn that it's doing some crazy things. But okay, so Nate, great dude. He is explaining a lot of the things about the AI automations. Let's skip the ads because I guess I'm not that rich to buy a premium subscription to YouTube. So let's check it out. I'm gonna put it on the 2x, okay, another Scribe ads. So let's keep that. Okay.
And there are some big claims about this model already. On the official release blog, it says a new era of intelligence, and that Gemini 3 is our most intelligent model that helps you bring any idea to life. So you can go ahead and read through this, and you can get some information about the model, Gemini 3 preview, and that is where you get this input and output cost per million tokens. But like I said, I played around with it a bit in here, and I've seen some really crazy demos of people actually building things, because what you can do is you can describe your idea right in here. It almost looks like a lovable or a base 44 type of interface. And so once you actually fill in a prompt of what you want to build, it can do tons of crazy things. You can make games, apps, landing pages, all that.
Yeah, so this is what I realized right away, because when people were sharing what they're building with the Gemini, I realized that is it some sort of a lovable Bolt or Replit alternative? Probably not Replit, because Replit is much bigger than just the AI builder, but something like lovable, right? And if we go to the build, I guess it's here. People are like building even the games, which is crazy, right? So it's awesome. It is great. So many things that you can potentially start building. You could probably build not gonna load it. You could probably build an app like that, or the website for any business already on Lovable or other apps. Okay, so bring the file. Let's attach some file. Let's see what's gonna do. Analyzing visual inputs, identifying the UI patterns. Again, so this app was purely generated, I guess, with Gemini by some other users that sent this as a demo and publish it in the marketplace. So while we were waiting, again, seems that it's a competitor to Lovable and to all of these tools. Now, I don't think that the market is so huge for the vibe coding. I don't think that there are like necessarily like the apps that compete to each other. All of them will find a place under the sun. What it means for us? Probably nothing. We use Lovable partially for our custom interface, okay? So our lead activation system is based on the three main pillars. The first of which is the high level, right? So this is where we have the management interface. The next one is the N8N. This is where the logic is built. And we have the retail as the voice provider, right? So this is like a triangle for our entire system. And we have, and this is a unique thing about like our specific workflow, is that we have our own custom built interface that is connecting all the pieces together. So for example, instead of you going into the N8N and changing all the webhooks and API requests right here, sorry for my slow internet connection because I am traveling, not sure. So instead of you going there and changing all the details, you can come in here and change it by yourself, okay? You can change the webhooks, you can change the API keys. Same thing with the prompts, because we have multiple AI agents for the voice and text, and there is a multi-agent workflow. For example, we have a course agent, we have a webinar agent, we have an engagement agent, we have a website agent, follow-up agent. So instead of you going into the N8N like a user right here, opening some sort of a workflow that is responsible for generating, the responses and communicating and selling the product, instead of you changing the materials here and the details here, you can change it here. And we also have the AI interface that is helping us and you to write the prompt. So like, have the knowledge base here, we have a database reactivation tool here, and of course the main piece is the chatbot analytics and the voice AI analytics, so you can chat with data right here, you can chat and understand what people are saying within the pipeline. Anyways, so the reason why I'm mentioning this is because this is partially built on Lovable, as you can see, right? So, and like, I guess cool. Wow. So that was loaded. I'm not sure. Okay, so we uploaded the source right here and it created something. Anyways, so it partially built on Lovable, and I guess if the Gemini is so good that we can partially right now, instead of Lovable, use the Gemini. But think about this. Why would we do that? Right? So the app is pretty much complex. It's starting to get more and more complex while we add more and more tools. And like, we've been actually thinking to go from Lovable to Replit because Replit is more designed towards the backend development, and we have a lot of the backend things going on. But Lovable and the custom code right now works good. So we're not going to change it. So for my business, it's not changing too much things, okay? And let's do a different thought experiment. If you've been thinking about launching some sort of a startup, right, and you didn't have the capital and you needed to have the MVP, right, going to show to your investors or test out your idea on the market, right? And it could be some sort of an app, it could be the dynamic like website, like a calculator type of the thing. Game, I'm not sure game is a whole nother space. You can already build it on Lovable and Bolt and Replit, right? So like, they're already good enough for building the MVPs. Of course, for probably like 1% of the users who are trying to build something super, super unique, something super complex, it's going to be a good thing that you now have potentially Gemini that can do all the things. I'm not saying that it's better than Lovable or not. What I'm saying is that this is another alternative that you can explore, right? But it's not going to help you to make the money because you could already build the MVP. And if you haven't done that, you are not ready. So it's not like you haven't built the MVP because Lovable, for example, I'm using Lovable just as an example, was not good enough for you to do that. So you either needed to hire the development team or you needed to custom code it. So you didn't do that because it was not an option. So now Gemini pops up and lets you do that. So now you're gonna launch this MVP into the market. I don't think that this is the case for 99% of you guys watching it. So again, it's nice to have, it's good to have, it's another competitor, it's moving the space forward, but it's nothing kind of that breaks the world for us.
That sort of stuff. And so if you just look at some of these examples, they're all over everything like that. So I've done some playing around with myself, but
Okay, so now he is basically showing how we're gonna connect the Gemini to the N8N. This is probably what we will test in the coming weeks. We're not gonna go over the entire setup right here, but what you need to understand is we are actually using the Gemini model very actively. As you can see, for our main text engine that is built on the N8N, we are using Gemini 2.5 Flash. And the reason why we're using Flash to make it more more conversational and faster. If the speed is not a problem, we're using the Pro model, because we found that the Gemini has the most human responses. So I would love to test the 3.0, and we're gonna do that, and I'm gonna share the results probably in a week or two with you guys, right? My guess is that it's gonna be even more human, but it is already human enough. Our AI reps are already faking all the human behavior. And most of the leads that we are generating and the AI is handling are not aware that it's an AI, right? So it's not like a significant difference, even if it's gonna be better. I would say right now, so let's say 100% is the actual human behavior of how I would talk with the leads. Maybe 5 to 10% is where the all the chatbots are at right now. It doesn't matter if it's the high level internal AI agents or the chatbots that you build on any other platform, right? Our AI reps, objectively speaking, I was sharing some examples of the conversations that our reps having with the leads that we generate. You can check it out on my YouTube. I would say it's like 80% out of the hundreds, right? So we are still missing 20% of some sort of a kind of nuances that humans still do that our agent doesn't. And maybe these nuances will be covered by Gemini 3.0. Oh, but I highly doubt it. Maybe by like 5%. So instead of 80%, we're gonna have like 85% or 90%, right? But again, maybe, okay, maybe. It's not gonna make a difference, okay? I don't want to spend my time or my developer's time like exploring it as soon as it got released. This is why we don't have too much hype within the team, because yes, of course we're gonna use it, but it's not the number one priority. We're gonna use it within the next 1 to maybe 3 weeks if it's gonna actually do some sort of a difference within our workflow, right? But not changing too many things, okay? So this is what he's talking about now, the benchmarks, the Gemini 3.0, about
Spot Pro is leading by pretty much double the next one, which was Claude 4.5. And this just means the chat model's ability to look at something like an image and understand it. And then this is just that second half, bottom section of this, the same image, the same benchmark statistics, and we've got some different ones to look at here. And honestly, one of them I think is the most interesting is this vending bench 2 benchmark, which if you guys haven't heard of this, it's actually kind of a cool experiment they do. They have these AI models basically run a virtual vending machine business, where the AI model would be in charge of ordering more inventory, adjusting prices, things like that. And the idea is that AI right now is typically really, really good at sort of like one-off tasks and short-term objectives. But when you start to give it a long-term.
Okay, so the power, again, we are not having our business is not actually relied on analyzing huge volumes of data. We are using the RAG, right? So for all of our builds, we are using the RAG knowledge base primarily, right? So for the clients. But when we're servicing local service contractors, usually we don't have the RAG because they don't have too much information that they have. If we're working with some sort of a plumber that is. There is an example from Texas. There's a guy, his name is John. It's only him and his wife and the daughter is helping them right now. They had a website and they have basically 10 services that they offer. For each service, they need to two paragraphs of data and a small spreadsheet of the different variables that comes into the pricing. So all this information is actually handled within the prompt, right? When it's a bit more, when it's a bigger company, like a landscaping, for example, they have a lot of the different parameters and they calculate the cost. They want to provide the estimates right away to the people. And these estimates are actually based on the pricing that they have within their knowledge base, within the spreadsheet. Yeah, sure. So we upload it to the rag, but it's accurate enough, right? So maybe it's going to be better, but this is the only kind of data point that we are working with within our business, right? So what I'm trying to show you is how it's going to influence us and how it's going to influence other people, right? Of course, I'm generalizing. I am pretty sure that all the metrics that Nate is showing here are very important, right? So for certain startups, for certain businesses that are working with huge numbers of data, or maybe startups who are having a more complex MVP that will be built here, it is important, right? It is important. But guys, if you're gonna get caught up with all these updates, with all these things, right, you're not gonna do anything. And this is the whole point. What I want to show you is I am partially the AI educator who has like a few hundred views on the YouTube, okay, if you call me that. I don't care, okay? I see all these people posting content about that, and I respect that. That's cool. That's awesome. We're gonna check Janice, by the way, right now. So that's cool. That's awesome. But like, I am more about the business, right? Rather than teaching you how to do the technical things related to anything. I like to teach you how to build the AI sales reps that can sell the product. I like to teach you the sales systems that can generate leads for your clients or for yourself. This is what I'm up to, right? And for me, if you're interested in this type of the content, this should not be a huge deal breaker, right? So the new update, the Gemini, same thing happened with the ChatGPT agent builder or whatever, right? So people were going crazy about it, but then they kind of realized that, oh, whatever. So it's just another tool. So if you will get caught up with all these updates, it's very hard, right? So the industry is moving so fast, so many tools getting added, but you already have enough to make it work and to make the money. It probably like doesn't matter what type of the business you are running, right? So sure, there will be always the 1 to 5% of you guys who are not doing certain things because the AI is not good enough for the task that you're trying to do. But again, I'm sorry, like, sure, it's harder for you. But for the majority of the market, it doesn't really matter. And this is why I don't care about all these updates. So let's check what Janice has to say about
complete voice AI demos customized literally to the industry or maybe even specific customer in less than 5 minutes without any technical knowledge. You can literally go from a system prompt, so a simple conversational text sentence.
So by watching this video, what I want to try to understand is if we would be able to build this without Gemini, with the previous models, right? And how good it is, right? So let's check it out.
To a completely ready-made website, in his case for a plumber, with a voice AI demo that works. And I'm serious, a voice AI demo that works. You have a complete assistant that you can talk to directly inside Gemini 3 without recreating a separate agent on a different platform. It's a complete game changer. It's madness, really. We created these demos now in less than 5 minutes, which is what I'm going to show you in this video. I'm going to walk you through how you can create.
Okay. So now this looks interesting. Basically, he built this website. This website has a live demo. And what we've been doing always is we've been connecting. So let's say we are having, there are like so many tools. There's so many voice AI solutions right now, right? So if we are talking about, let's say, the retail, right? So this is the retail, by the way. I have a lot of the icons here. So if we are using the retail as the main provider, right? Or you can use Vappy, right? So it doesn't matter. Like you can use Vappy, you can use Synthflow, you can use whatever, right? So what we were doing before is we were having a website, right? Website demo that is usually built on either our custom interface or the high level or like any final builder software. We never used Lovable for that. You could use Lovable. And then when people are clicking in certain buttons, it actually transition like the call to the retail, right? So it's connected to the third party. But what he is mentioning here is the voice AI is built directly in the Gemini. It's interesting.
complete assistant that you can talk to directly in our demo, how you can customize it, getting it, teach people, and its whole. So rather than you trying to figure out how to connect different services with each other, you can set up anyways by simply heading over to AI Studio.
Okay.
Really simple system for business. A voice AI agent, boom. So this is going to be the
I'll create a website that focuses on plumber agency that plumber can do sales. One of the needs the front desk who needs the emergency.
website that I'd like to have created. And literally, I haven't defined anything about the design, etc., which is something you can put in here as well.
Yeah,
But all we're gonna do now is click here on build. So I'm gonna show you a couple of really, really cool things that you will definitely be able to take advantage of when you leverage Gemini. And number one is these bars up here. You have literally the possibility that once this project is created, that you can directly create a GitHub repository from it. Crazy. This is really, really amazing. Because what that allows you to is that when you like the website and the client, for example, likes the voice AI demo that you create, you can directly
Yeah, so basically connect it to the GitHub, exporting it, and I guess I'm not sure again. So on the Lovable projects, we are using the GitHub. Again, I would need to ask my developers, of course. And I guess like you can do that already. Yeah, like right here, right? And you can connect the Supabase. So this is not something unique, but that's cool to have. Again, sorry if I'm not mistaken. Maybe there are some features. Maybe something is easier, but whatever.
hook it up to GitHub. And I think what I'm going to show though is when you head over to the code section right here, you can see that it's creating all of the files. And at the very end, you'll also see that it creates an MD file, which contains the README information. So basically anything you need to set.
Yeah, so Lovable does the same thing. Now, it seems that I'm pushing Lovable as the founder of Lovable or someone who is directly motivated to promote them. I'm not. Again, I guess the same thing can be built by Lovable New or Replit or Base 44, right? Generalizing.
Set it up locally if you want to. Now, since we do it no code, none of this is necessary to actually talk to the agent. But now we have an actual functional website, and I'm just going to make it full screen here so you can actually see it. And you can see I called it plummet.ai, so I didn't define.
Yeah, so this website is kind of we can do the same thing if we test it right now. Okay, if I go back, second, need to reload. So I want to show you that the same thing can be built on the Lovable, but what he is talking about is the live demo. This is something super, super unique that you cannot build on this front end apps, okay?
In the top level domain, but it did a really cool logo design even, which I really, really like. And we have here a couple of menu items. These are probably on page. Okay, so that doesn't work. I think it's because it's in the 5 flash for making this whole thing work. So you pretty much have your own little orchestration layer, which in between, and you see they have even different layouts. And the coolest thing of all is that this is actually an implemented voice AI agent. Google uses obviously their own model. They use Gemini 2.5 flash for making this whole thing work. So you pretty much have your own little orchestration layer built into the code that Gemini created here. So you can really talk to this agent. And I can prove that as well by literally just talking to it. So let's talk to the front desk. Just gonna click on it. I allow this time. So let's just give it a try. I'm simply clicking on the start demo call button. Hey Sarah, how are you?
Hello, what can I help you with?
I'm not sure. I just wanted to know a bit more about Plummet.
Oh, I see. We're a local plumbing company that provides services for residential and commercial customers. Is there a specific type of plumbing service you are interested in?
Main water valve immediately. Do you know where it is?
No, not really. Can you help me with that?
It's usually in the basement or at the curb outside. Look for a...
First of all, we need to deploy it if we want to. And luckily for us, Google integrates it into their cloud service, so we can literally just...
Lovable for some reason is not loading, but I guess you understand what, like, that you can build a front end, but I don't believe that you can build a back end like that in terms of the integrated the voice AI, which is understandable because Lovable is just the layer and it doesn't have this AI capability backend like the Gemini and Google has. It's awesome. Okay, so this is awesome. Let's analyze how it's like. See, this is the point that I'm trying to make. It looks really good. But let's analyze if you are actually going to be using it, right? Because when you're seeing this on the like YouTube or TikTok or Instagram or the LinkedIn, it does look very unique, and it is. But in terms of the business value, right? So what you're having is you can build a custom website for a business, right? Like a demo website for the business, and demo the AI solution, the voice AI solution. And I guess you can do the chatbot here. They'll be able to pull this off right away. Seems awesome, but let's be real. So here's how we do that, okay? So we have a demo pages. This is one of the recent releases, and we're still kind of evolving that to our license holders. Um, Basically, the demo pages that you can create to demo your solutions. Okay. So basically, it's the same page, right? So it's like it's a website page. I'm not gonna show it to you right now because once we fully release that to the one prompt, I'm gonna create a separate video about it. But picture the website with a logo and with, like, say, 3 tabs, right? So the chatbot, the voice, and the form. And so whenever you click on these tabs, you can see the rendered, like, a chatbot interface on the WhatsApp or Instagram, and you can chat with it. On the voice, you'll be able to call this agent, and on the form, you'll be able to fill out the form, and you will be reached out by the agent. So the reason why we have it is because you can deploy, and we deploy when we are especially running the ads, the double opt-in funnels or the webinar funnels to the local service contractors. Before hopping on the call to have a higher conversion rate, we show them the demo. And what we do, we actually just, like, create this page, okay, change the prompts of all of our agents for both text and voice. But again, it's also done on the interface side. So we change it right here. Okay, so we change the prompt for the text and we change the voice prompt. And we just connect it to the demo page and it's working, right? So this is what we have. And we just replace the logo here. We replace the colors and we replace some of the text. So this demo page is fully built for the customer, right? And the customer can experience all of these solutions based on their details because we updated the prompts and the knowledge base with their details. Now, so for us, it's not making too much difference. But let's talk about you guys who don't have that, right? So I mean, I just don't believe that if you're serious about, like, selling the solutions, you're going to be using it. Because think about this. Like, what he's doing, he prompt it, right? So he prompt the voice to behave in a certain way. And, like, you can surely, I guess, have some control over that. You don't see how it's built. But do you want to, let's say there is a customer who is interested, okay? Let's do the role play. So let's say there is a customer who is interested and who has the money. So the only thing that is left is for you to sell it. And for you to sell it, you need to demo your solution. And we're talking about, let's say, like $2,000 upfront and then something like $2,000 a month, right? Or like $5,000 upfront and like $1,000 a month. Not for the voice AI, but for the system. But the voice AI is a part of the system. For example, okay. You tell me, do you want to rely on that? Like, do you want to rely on this type of the third-party build that you cannot control and it's harder for you to test it for the potential to lose this client? Or you would, like, I wouldn't say like you would have something like this, but let's say you're not, like, you don't want to build it from scratch. What you could do is you could literally go to something like the high level, right? Or you can use Lovable for that. And so, or you can use Gemini, right? So let's say you can use Gemini. You can create a website, or you just create a website and the funnel from a template on the high level. It doesn't matter how you create the front end, but then when people click on a button, right? So when they click on a button, they will call the number. Now, yes, it's gonna be harder for you to get the agent, the voice AI, if we're talking this as an example, voice AI, be embedded as a live agent on the website like this. It's gonna be harder. But what we usually do is on the website, right? So we just have a phone number, and like when people click on it, they will be automatically like calling if they're on the phone, or they can call this number. So it's going to be either the inbound or outbound, or they can click request a call and the number will call them. yes, it's not a live demo, but guys, I believe that it's not needed, and it can hurt a bit more because when you are having this on the website, prospects might think, okay, so but we don't need the voice AI on the website, we need it on the phone. Can it connect to the phone? Like, of course, yes, but especially when you're working with the people who are not tech savvy, it's going to be like, it could be a bit of the constraint, so you better deploy it on the phone. So like website like that will take you 5 minutes, and you can build any agent. Go to Vappy, okay, get their demo, create the prompt, and you're gonna be good within 10 minutes, okay? And so just display this phone number right here on the website that you built with Gemini, with Lovable, or with High Level, and that's it. So, okay, it's gonna take you 20 minutes instead of 5. Do you want to risk it? Like, is it too big of a deal? If I tell you, okay, if this is on the table, like if it's like 2 plus 2K a month, so potentially 30,000 or 20,000 or a year contract, are you not gonna, what, like spend an hour building the demo? And of course you can say, yeah, Eugene, but we don't know, like, of course for these customers, but as you said, you're running the funnels, and even before the sales calls, you're building the demos for all the people. So we cannot spend 1 hour to deploy the solutions for each and every business. But now, yes. But once you have like the website built on any of the tools, right? Like, just replace the phone numbers, just buy the phone numbers for $1 from Vappy, and just do that, right? So for the text, like for the chatbots, it's a bit different because you would want to deploy it in the WhatsApp, for example, if you're working internationally, or to the text number that you bought as the iMessage or the texting. And you cannot connect it if you're buying the phone number, for example, from Vappy or the retail. You would need to go to the Twilio. So yes, sure, you have the Twilio set up, right? So in the Twilio right here will be connected to both. So let's say you're going to be having the Twilio that is connected to the High Level for the chatbot, and for the retail for the voice, right? Sure, you're going to be spending some time on like figuring out the setup, but then it's literally going to take you 10 minutes to deploy, right? But you better have the entire control. And now, what I'm saying, the only thing that I'm saying is that it's awesome. First of all, kudos to Janice showing it greatly. It works great, okay? And I'm pretty sure that it's going to get better, but it's not a deal breaker, right? It's not something that will make or break your business, okay? If you understand the value of the demos, you probably already have the demo pages that you share with the clients. If you don't, this is not going to make the difference, okay? But it's cool. Like, I respect that. Like, I respect that. We're not going to use it. What's that?
What do is you head back into this setup right here, into the AI Studio. We click back here on Deploy App, and since it was already deployed in the
So he's deploying it in the cloud. Awesome.
To manage domains, and it protects them at the same time because it basically
Base 44 is actually advertising on all of the videos, I guess, about the Gemini 3.
a layer between your N8N in a
On the form
once that's
submission.
done, your domain will be available. Still loading. So
yeah, so pretty much it, I guess. So there are, from what I understood right now, it can build awesome apps, awesome websites, even the games. We're not gonna use it ourselves. Maybe in future, but not right now. I'm going to test the 3.0 in the conversational manner, how good it is. In terms of the costs are really important. Cost is not a concern for us. Like, we're charging all of our clients $1,000 to $3,000 a month. So if we're spending $300 a month instead of $200 a month on the token usage, sure, I mean, that's the money. And when we're having like 20, 30, 40 clients, it does make the difference. But it's not like a deal breaker that where we need to quit all the job and like start integrating it. I guess we're gonna be using the 3.0 in the conversational manner, but other than that, that's pretty much it.